Radio, where we groove as the spirit moves. Yeah. Drawing the honey from the rock with the righteous Reverend Doctor on Booming Thunder Radio.
Welcome to the Fourth Watch, mighty friends. Brother TC coming at you live from down in the bayou. Yeah, the Elijah Ministries. Call out to all the remnant this very day. Yea, the restored remnant upon the earth. Yea, mighty Father, let each one be strengthened by our words. Your word, mighty Father, that flows from our heart, from the mercy seat in our mind, and flows willingly, yea, wantingly. The restored remnant, revealed now and for all time. Then it will happen on that day that mighty YeHoShua will again recover the second time with his hand the remnant of his people who will remain. Those from Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam, Shinar, Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he will lift up a standard for the nations and assemble the banished ones of Israel, and will gather the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. Then the jealousy of Ephraim will depart, and those who harass Yehudah will be cut off. Ephraim will not be jealous of Yehudah, and Yehudah will not harass Ephraim. They will swoop down on the slopes of the Philistines on the west. Together they will plunder the sons of the east. They will possess Edom and Moab. And the sons of Ammon will be subject to them. And mighty Jehovah will utterly destroy the tongue of the sea of Egypt. And he will wave his hand over the river and his scorching wind. And he will strike it into 7 streams and make walk over dry shod. And there will be a highway from Assyria for the remnant and his people who will be left, just as there was for Israel in the day that they came up out of the land of Egypt. Do you remember that day? Have you studied that day as the everlasting glory revealed that story into your heart? Have you revealed that word in your heart given into your son, your grandson, your greatest of grandsons, and the most greatest of all the grandsons, the one each and every one of us, have the everlasting sons that live forever upon the earth, from the love given them by their mother's right hand. These men raised, never knowing the left hand ever existed, raised like firstborn sons upon the earth, righteous and true, a remnant like could never be, never was, and could never be again. Then, mighty friend, you will say on that day, that you will give thanks to mighty YeHoVah and his everlasting glory upon the earth, the living word of his Son, YeHoShua, Yahshua, Moshe's right-hand man, seen and unseen upon the earth. For although you were angry, mighty YeHoVah, angry with each of us, his anger has been turned away, and he now comforts each of us. Behold, God, the everlasting Son, is our salvation. Each of us will trust and not be afraid, for mighty YeHoShua, shone forth in our heaven deep inside the Father, mighty YeHoVah, and the strength and the song, and he has become our salvation. Therefore you will joyously draw water from the springs of salvation. Oh, let us drink it in each day as we walk across the water, a son of the right hand, with the Father and the everlasting Son in our heart, a golden vessel, a willing vessel full of gold and mercy, frankincense and myrrh. And in that day you will say, give thanks to mighty YeHoShua, call on his name, make known his deeds among the peoples, make remember that his name is exalted. Praise mighty YeHoShua in song, and he has done excellent things. Let this be known throughout the earth. Cry aloud and shout for joy, O inhabitant of Zion, for great in your midst is the Holy One of Israel. Hallelujah, YeHoVah. Hallelujah, YeHoShua, our King. The oracle concerning Babylon which Isaiah the son of Amoz saw. Lift up a standard on the bare hill. Raise your voice to them. Wave the hand that they may enter the doors of the nobles. Yea, we have commanded our consecrated ones. We have even called our mighty warriors, our proudly exulting ones, to execute the anger of mighty Yehovah's Son upon the earth. Joel 3:11 is your faithful witness. A sound of tumult on the mountains, a warring within your very mind, like that of many people. A sound of the uproar of kingdoms, the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness, warring of nations gathered together, and mighty YeHoShua of hosts, may the everlasting glory of the Father, mighty Yehovah, is mustering the army for battle. They are coming from a far country, yea, from the farthest horizons. Yea, mighty YeHoShua and his instruments of indignation to destroy the whole land. Wail, for the day of mighty Yehovah is near. It will come as destruction from the Almighty himself. Therefore, all hands will fall limp. And every man's heart will melt. They will be terrified. Pains and anguish will take hold. They will writhe like a woman in labor. They will look at one another in astonishment, their faces aflame. Behold, the day of mighty Yehovah is coming, cruel, with fury and burning anger, to make the land a desolation, and he will exterminate its sinners from it. For the stars of heaven and their constellations will not flash forth their light. The sun will be dark when it rises, and the moon will not shed its light. Thus, yea, the world will be punished for its evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. An end of arrogance of the proud shall come quickly upon them, and abase the haughtiness of the ruthless. Mortal men will be scarcer than pure gold, and mankind than the gold of Ophir. What is this Ophir all about? Have you ever been to Hebrew 2:11? It's a name describing the area from which Solomon imported great quantities of gold. That treasured place was renowned for its fine gold, its major product to the nations. Its exact location is still a puzzle. Yea, and many have the key, but may have been in the south or southwest part of the Arabian Peninsula. Yea. Therefore, let the heavens tremble, and the earth be shaken from its place at the fury of mighty Yehovah of hosts, in the day of his burning anger. And it will be that, like a hunted, or like sheep with none to gather, they will each turn to his own people, and each one flee to his own land. Anyone who is found will be thrust through, and anyone who is captured will fall by the sword. Their little ones also will be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses will be plundered, and their wives ravished. Yea, behold, let the Medes be stirred up against them, who will not value silver or take pleasure in gold. And bows will mow down the young men. They will not even have compassion on the fruit of the womb. Will their evil eye pity children? They will not even have compassion or pity for the children. In Babylon, the beauty of kingdoms, the glory of the Chaldeans' pride, will be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It will never be inhabited or lived in from generation to generation, nor will the Arab pitch tents there, nor will shepherds make to lie down there. But desert creatures, do you hear? Desert creatures will lie down there, and their houses will be full of owls, ostriches, yea, from down under also will live there, and shaggy goats will frolic there. Hyenas will howl in their fortified towers, and jackals in their luxurious palaces. her time also will soon come, and her days will not be prolonged. When mighty YeHoShua will have compassion on Jacob, and again choose Israel, and settle them in their own land, then strangers will join them and attach themselves to the house of Jacob. The peoples will take them along and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel will possess them as an inheritance in the land of mighty YeHoShua, as male servants and female servants, and they will take their captives captive and will rule over their oppressors. Shema Israel. And it will be in the day when mighty YeHoShua gives you rest from your pain and turmoil and harsh service in which you have been enslaved. Then you will take up this taunt against the king of Babylon and say, how the oppressor has ceased. Fury has ceased. Mighty YeHoShua has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of rulers, which used to strike the peoples in fury with unceasing strokes, which subdued the nations in anger with unrestrained persecution. The whole earth is at rest and quiet. They break forth into shouts of joy. Even the cypress trees rejoice over you. The cedars of Lebanon, since you were laid low, none comes up against us. Sheol from beneath is excited over you to meet you when you come. It arouses for you the spirits of the dead, all the leaders of the earth. It raises all the kings of the nations from their thrones. They will all respond and say to you, even you have been made weak, as we have been made weak. You have become like us. Your pomp, the music of your harps, have been brought down to Sheol. Maggots are spread out beneath you, and worms are your covering. How you have fallen from heaven, O star of the morning, son of the dawn. You have been cut down to the earth. You have been weakened. You who have weakened the nations. But you said in your heart that you will ascend to heaven. that you will raise your throne above the stars of our Father, mighty YeHoVah, and that you would sit on the mount of the assembly in the recesses of the north, and will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and make yourself like mighty YeHoVah himself. Nevertheless, you will be thrust down to Sheol, to the recesses of the pit. Those who see you will gaze at you. They will ponder over you. Will they say, "Is this the man who made the earth tremble? Who shook kingdoms? Who made the world like a wilderness and overthrew its cities? Who did not allow his prisoners to go up, to have a home?" All the kings of the nations lie in glory, each in his own tomb. But you have been cast out of your tomb like a rejected branch, clothed with the slain who are pierced with a sword, who go down to the stones of the pit like a trampled corpse. You will not be united with them in burial, because you have ruined your country. You have slain your people. May the offspring of evildoers not be mentioned forever. Prepare for his sons a place of slaughter, because of the iniquity of their fathers. They must not arise and take possession of the earth, and fill the face of the world with cities. Rise up against them, O mighty YeHoVah, Lord and Master of all. Yea, cut off from Babylon. The survivors, names, offspring, posterity, he declares mighty YeHoVah. He also will make it a possession for the hedgehog and swamps of water. And he will sweep it with the broom of destruction. Yea, as he drains the swamp, declares mighty YeHoVah of hosts. Mighty YeHoVah of hosts has sworn, saying these words, "Surely, just as I have intended, so it has happened, and just as I have planned, so it will stand, to break Assyria in my land, and I will trample him on my mountains. Then his yoke will be removed from them, and his burden removed from their shoulder. This is the plan devised against the whole earth, and this is the hand that is stretched out against all the nations. For YeHoShua of hosts has planned, and who can frustrate? And as for his stretched out hand, who can turn it back? In the year of King Ahaz died, this oracle came. Do not rejoice, O Philistia, all of you, because the rod that struck you is broken. For from the serpent's root a viper will come out, and its fruit will be a flying serpent. Those who are most helpless will eat, and the needy will lie down in security. YeHoShua will destroy your root with famine, and it will kill off your survivors. The same famine. Wail, O gate, cry, O city, melt away, O Philistia, all of you, for smoke comes from the north, and there is no straggler in his ranks. How then will one answer the messengers of the nation? That YeHoShua has founded Zion, and the afflicted of his people will seek refuge in it. The oracle concerning Moab. Surely in a night Ar of Moab is devastated, ruined. Surely in a night Kir of Moab is devastated, ruined. They have gone up to the temple and to Dibon, to the high places to weep. Moab wails over Nebo and Medeba. Everyone's head is bald. Every beard is cut off. In their streets, they have girded themselves with sackcloth. On their housetops and in their squares, everyone is wailing, dissolved in tears. Heshbon and Eliah also cry out. Their voice is heard all the way to Yahaz. Therefore the armed men of Moab cry aloud. His soul trembles within him. Oh, let my heart cries out for Moab, his fugitives are as far as Zoar and Eglath, Shilishia, for they go up the ascent of Luith, weeping. Surely on the road to Horonaim they raise a cry of distress over ruin. For their waters of Nimrim are desolate. Surely the grass is withered, the tender grass died out. There is no green thing. Therefore the abundance they have acquired and stored up, they carry off over the brook of Arabim. For the cry of distress has gone around the territory of Moab. Its wail as far as Exlam, and its wailing even to Beer Elam. For the waters of Daman are full of blood. Surely I will bring added upon Daman, a lion upon the fugitives of Moab, and upon the remnant of the land. Send the lamb to the ruler of the land, from Selah by the way of the wilderness to the mountain of the daughter of Zion. Then like fleeing birds, scattered nestings, the daughters of Moab will be at the fords of the Arnon. Give advice, make a decision. Cast your shadow like night at high noon. Hide the outcasts. Do not betray the fugitive. Let the outcasts of Moab stay with you. Be a hiding place to them from the destroyer. For the extortioner has come to an end. Destruction has ceased. Oppressors have completely been removed from the land. A throne will even be established in loving kindness, and a judge will sit on it in faithfulness in the tent of the beloved David. In the tent of the beloved David. Moreover, he will seek justice, liberty and justice, and be prompt in righteousness. We have heard of the pride of Moab, and excess pride of his arrogance, pride and fury. His idle boasts are false. Therefore Moab will wail. Every one of Moab will wail. You will moan for the raisin cakes of Kir Hareseth, as those who are utterly stricken. For the fields of Heshbon have withered, the vines of Sibmah as well. The lords of the nations have trampled down its choice clusters, which reached as far as Jazer, wandered to the deserts. Its tendrils spread themselves out, passed even over the sea. Therefore let us weep bitterly for Yazir, for the vine of Sibmah. I will drench you and with my tears, O Heshbon and Eleah, for the shouting over your summer fruits, and your harvest has fallen away. Gladness and joy are taken away from the fruitful field. In the vineyards also there will be no cries of joy or jubilant shouting. No treader treads out wine in the presses. Yea, we have made the shouting to cease. Therefore our heart intones like a harp of Moab, and our inward feelings for Kir Hareseth. So it will come about when Moab presents himself, when he wearies himself upon high place, and come to his sanctuary to pray, that he will not prevail. This is the word which mighty YeHoShua spoke earlier concerning Moab. But now mighty YeHoShua speaks, saying, within 3 years, as a hired man would count them, the glory of Moab will be degraded, along with all great population, and remnant will be very small, impotent. But it was said at one time, a blind man on his way to Damascus, searching for the light deep within his heart and mind, the everlasting glory of the living word within his heart, at the mercy seat would be in his mind. I send forth this day the oracle concerning Damascus. Behold, Damascus is about to be removed from being a city, and will become a fallen ruin. The cities of Aurora are forsaken. They will be for flocks to lie down in, and there will be no one to frighten. The fortified city will disappear from Ephraim, and sovereignty from Damascus, and the remnant of Aram. They will be like the glory of the sons of Israel, declares mighty YeHoShua of hosts. Now in that day, the glory of Jacob will fade. Now in that day, the glory of Jacob will fade, and the fatness of his flesh will become lean. It will be even like the reaper gathering the standing grain, as his arm harvests the ears, or it will be like one gleaning ears of grain in the valley of Rephaim. Yet gleanings will be left in it like the shaking of an olive tree. 2, perhaps 3 olives on the topmost bough, 4, perhaps 5 on the branches of a fruitful tree, declares mighty YeHoShua, the God of Israel. In that day man will have regard for his Maker, and his eyes will look to the Holy One of Israel. He will not have regard for the altars, the work of his hands, nor will he look to that which his fingers have made, even the Asherim and incense stands. In that day their strong cities will be like forsaken places in the forest, or like branches which they abandoned before the sons of Israel, and the land will be a desolation. For you have forgotten the God of your salvation, and have not remembered the rock of your refuge. Therefore you plant delightful plants, and set them with vine slips of a strange manner. In the day that you plant, you carefully fence, yea, fence it all in, that nothing can get into it. And in the morning you bring your seed to blossom. The harvest like a heap in a day of sickliness and incurable pain. Alas, the uproar of many peoples, who roar like the roaring of the seas, and the rumbling of nations, who rush on like the rumbling of mighty waters. The nations rumble on like the rumbling of many waters, but he will rebuke them, and they will flee far away, and be chased like chaff in the mountains before the wind, or like whirling dust before a gale. At evening time, behold, terror. Before morning, they are no more. Such the portion of those who plunder us, and the lot of those who pillage us. Yea, let the word be made true. Let the vision be seen when the valley is raised up on high. Yea, when the mountain, the snow-capped mountains all melt away. Yea, well, O ships of Tarshish, for Tyre is destroyed without house or harbor. It is reported to them from the land of Cyprus. Be silent, you inhabitants of the coastland, you merchants of Sidon, you messengers crossed the sea. And on many waters, the grain of the Nile, the harvest of the river was her revenue, and she was the market of nations. Be ashamed, O Sidon, for the sea speaks. the stronghold of the sea, saying, I have neither travailed nor given birth. I have neither brought up young men or reared virgins. When the report comes upon Egypt, they will be in anguish at the report of Tyre. Pass over to Tarshish, wail, O inhabitants of the coastland. Is this your jubilant city, whose origin is from antiquity, whose feet used to carry her to colonize distant places? Who has planned this against Tyre, the bestower of crowns, whose merchants were princes, whose traders were the honored of the earth? Mighty YeHoShua of hosts has planned it, to defile the pride of all beauty, to despise all the honored of the earth. Overflow your land like the Nile, O daughter of Tarshish. There is no more restraint. He has stretched his hand out over the sea. He has made the kingdoms tremble. Mighty YeHoShua has given a command concerning Canaan to demolish its strongholds. He has said, You shall exult no more, O crushed virgin, daughter of Sidon. Arise, pass over to Cyprus. Even there you will find no rest. Behold the land of the Chaldeans. This is the people which was not. Assyria appointed it for desert creatures. They erected their siege towers. They stripped its palaces. They made it a ruin. Well, O ships of Tarshish, for your stronghold is destroyed. Now in that day Tyre will be forgotten for 70 years, like the day of one king. At the end of 70 years, it will happen to Tyre as the song of the harlot. Let us take our harps, walk about the city, ye, O forgotten harlot. Pluck the strings skillfully, sing many songs that you may be remembered. It will come about at the end of 70 years that mighty YeHoShua will visit Tyre. Then she will go back to her harlot's wages and will play the harlot with all the kingdoms on the face of the earth. Her gain and her harlot's wages will be set apart to mighty YeHoShua. It will not be stored up or hoarded, but her gain will become sufficient food and choice attire for those who dwell in the presence of mighty YeHoShua. So what is the judgment on the earth? That the words of a man, the word a man speak, judge men's hearts, reveals the split window of their mind. in that day, behold, mighty YeHoShua lays the earth waste, devastates it, distorts its surface, and scatters its inhabitants. And the people will be like the priest, the servant like his master, the maid like her mistress, the buyer like the seller, the lender like the borrower, the creditor like the debtor. The earth will be completely laid waste and completely despoiled, for mighty YeHoShua has spoken this word. The earth mourns, withers, the world fades, withers, the exalted of the people of the earth fade away. The earth is also polluted by its inhabitants, for they transgressed laws, violated statutes, broke the everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse devours the earth, and those who live in it are held guilty. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men are left. The new wine mourns, the vine decays, all the merry-hearted sigh. The gaiety of tambourines ceases. The noise of revelers stops. The gaiety of the harp ceases. They do not drink wine with song. Strong drink is bitter to those who drink it. The city of chaos is broken down. Every house is shut up so that none may enter. There is an outcry in the streets concerning the wine. All joy turns to gloom. The gaiety of the earth is banished. Desolation is left in the city, and the gate is battered to ruins. For thus it will be in the midst of the earth among the peoples, as the shaking of an olive tree, as the gleanings when the grape harvest is over. They raise their voices, they shout for joy, they cry out from the west concerning the majesty of mighty YeHoShua. Therefore glorify mighty YeHoShua in the east, the name of mighty YeHoShua, the God of Israel, in the coastlands of the sea. From the ends of the earth we hear songs, glory to the righteous one. But let each of us say, woe to us, woe to each of us, alas unto each one of us. The treacherous deal treacherously, and the treacherous deal very treacherously. Terror and pit and snare confront you, O inhabitant of the earth. Then it will be that he who flees the reporter of disaster will fall into the pit, and he who climbs out of the pit will be caught up in the snare. For the windows above are opened, and the foundations of the earth shake. The earth is broken asunder, the earth is split through, the earth is shaken violently. The earth reels to and fro like a drunkard, and it totters like a shack, and its transgression is heavy upon it, and it will fall, never to rise again. So it will happen in that day that mighty YeHoVah will punish the host of heaven on high and the kings of the earth on earth. They will be gathered together, prisoners in the dungeon, and will be confined in prison. And after many days, they'll be punished. When the moon will be abashed and the sun ashamed, for mighty YeHoVah of hosts will reign on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem. Yea, and glory will be before all of his elders. Yea, can I have an emet? Yea, at the remnant would come forth and hear and receive. Yea, and stand, be circumcised, and have their foreheads anointed with the name of mighty YeHoVah, that they can be sealed for this coming age and time, revealed. Yea, this very day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years of teaching is as if this one day, again and again, the piercing of the veil, the thrusting of the gospel message, the everlasting glory, the living word of YeHoShua, the revelation of Torah, the mystery language of mighty YeHoVah revealed in the parable words of the everlasting glory. Yea, the Son that reveals the Father, the gate, the narrow door, the only way in to the Father of lights. Yea, remember always, mighty friends, you too can walk radiant and magnificent in mighty YeHoVah's garden. Yea, a son of the right hand, mighty YeHoShua hidden deep inside. Yea, that all the earth would rejoice with your steps and breath. Yea, with the blessing of everlasting placed upon each passer-by who willingly stands to receive and believes. Yea, a seed within their hearts like the size of a mustard seed, that they too can walk on the water in the fourth watch in the living word as YeHoShua, the Spirit of the everlasting Father, mighty YeHoVah upon the earth, teaching and revealing the narrow way again and again.